Marcel. I mean, I think the defense did today. Offense moved the ball a little bit, but did a good job getting fumbles and things like that.
Scrimmages are always tough to kind of see, who did good and who did bad. Once again, you always think if your side of the ball played good and then you watch film, it's not as good as what you think. And then if you think the guys played bad, it's not as bad as what you think. So, we'll watch the film. I think we had over 100 plays. So hopefully with 100 plays, there's going to be some good and some bad on each side. I'm just happy that we got through healthy.
There's been a lot of talk, obviously, a lot of guys saying they want to be a dominant defense this year. I mean, a lot of guys coming back, a lot of veterans. And what did you get out of this spring, I guess, what you wanted to defensively? Do you feel good going into the summer with where you guys are at?
Yeah, for us to have our staff back as a whole, and then for us to kind of harp on, at times last year we played really good defense, but we need to just concentrate on, the big plays. We want to stop those big plays, and so I thought we did that this spring.
When you first team defense, the first team defense went out to the first drive, gave up some first downs, and then got put in a bad situation the second drive and stepped up 3 and out, block a field goal. Even though it's a scrimmage, like to see that kind of competitiveness, and it seemed like they kind of rolled from there.
Yeah, once again, it's about making them drive the football field and don't give up, the big play. Don't give up the play to where they catch it and then they score a touchdown. So even if they get some yards, right, you want to make them, earn every yard. So that's the thing that we want to harp on, is we want to limit our explosive plays.
When you look at how many guys you do return, how many starters you return, what does it allow you to do when maybe there's a little bit, when things are a little bit more settled in terms of what you have coming back? What does it maybe allow the guys to do? Maybe further their rapport with guys around them, or just take that next step, I guess?
With depth, I think that brings guys that aren't able to relax. So when you know that the guy behind you is pretty good, almost as good as you, or then you're going to work harder to keep your starting spot. And so and then the same thing, if you're a second teamer and you feel like that you're not that far away from being a starter, you're going to work hard to play, obviously. And so what that does is that just builds every guy. Every guy on our team is just going to keep fighting.
You said when we talked to you before spring, you hoped DSG would. You expected and hoped he'd be kind of take over that position. I know Chance was out and stuff, but do you feel like he did enough there that he's going to go into fall camp as a starter there? Or how do you like what you saw from DSG this spring?
Let me grade the scrimmage, and I'll let you know after that. But yeah, he did a great job. Is he there yet? No. He still needs to get better. Once again, once fall camp get here and we get those guys, all the guys here, our whole team here, we'll see where he's at. But he did a good job this spring, I thought.
The other corner spot with Moxie, and I know at times kind of up and down year last year, but is he kind of cement? I know some other young guys may be in the mix when they get here later this year, but is he a guy that maybe has cemented a spot, or at least the leg up on a spot over there at the other corner going into the fall?
Moxie played well this spring. He came out here to work each day, I thought, and every day I thought he improved. He improved on his eyes. He improved on having a understanding of what we're trying to do. I think he understands the position, and he understands that you have to play with good eyes at all times when you're out there on the island.
You mentioned this emphasis on stopping the big play.
Right.
There were a couple today, some deep passes, some runs. I know it's just a spring game, but is that still kind of frustrating to see that?
Very frustrating. But at the same time, whenever you're playing against your offense, I mean, when you're playing an inter-squad scrimmage, you never want it to be one way. And so at the same time, with me being a guy that's on D, I want the offense to have some, they got to score. You know what I mean? So yes and no. I thought the Blues did a good job of playing well. The Oranges at times, they need to play a little bit better at times of understanding certain things. But all in all, it was okay scrimmage for us.
So what do you tell these guys as they go into the summer? What's kind of your points of emphasis you want these guys to come in fall camp, with?
First thing is finish up school strong. We need to finish up strong as far as school, and then once again this summer we need to have the best summer we ever had. So continue to work. Darian Thompson needs to be a leader. Tanner Vallejo needs to be a leader. You know, JT, Tyler Horn, all those seniors need to be guys that want to go out here with a bang. And so we need to have a great summer as a defense and as a team.
Who impressed you this spring?
Jonathan Moxie.
Okay.
He was a guy that I thought got better. Dante Dion played well. I mean, you know, when you have such a veteran group of guys that are humble and hungry, you know, and want to get better. But, you know, you can start up front with, you know, Armand Nance, JT, Hamalay played well. Tanner Vallejo, I think, he has a good feel for that mic position, and you know, he understands it. Dante Dion, his technique and his eyes are so much better than they were. So, you know, I thought as a group, you know, we're getting better.
You talked about wanting to, you know, be the best defense in your conference and stuff, and we talked about them having that chip on their shoulder in the spring. Did you notice this spring? Could you tell that chip is still there from your group, and there's no complacency despite so many returners coming back?
It's there, you know, it is there, and you know, going back to, you know, 2006 when, you know, Coach Hawk left, and you know, we came in, and to me at that point, Boise State was known as an offensive school. You know, we were known for scoring a lot of points, and right then I think we set the tone, and we want to be known for scoring points, but also, you know, we don't want to give up a lot of points. And so the one thing we need to do better, like I said, is cut down our points per game. You know, I thought we played well at times, but we gave up too many points, you know, more points than we should have certain games. And so this spring was a harp. I'm a guy that, you know, I think you need to be straightforward with these guys and tell them we need to be better at such and such. And, you know, they heard me, and we harped on it, and we got better.
What type of player can Kamala Gray become? I mean, I think we saw last fall, got more and more confident, and he carried that into this spring, but he definitely seems to bring a certain type of unique swagger, I guess.
Right.
Or whatnot to that
Right.
defensive unit.
He's a player that we thought that when he's playing well and things are going good and he's in a rhythm, he can be, you know, great. The question with him is he needs to grow a little bit when things are going bad. He needs to be that player who can make that play for us to get us going back, you know. And that's the challenge for this defense is that, you know, when things are going good on any team, it's always easy when things are going good. The question to me, a dominant defense is when things are going bad. So if the offense turned the ball over at the 10-yard line, are you going to hold them to a field goal? Are you going to create a turnover? Or are you going to say, okay, we got the ball at the 10-yard line, okay, they score. That's not our fault, you know. And so to me, a dominant defense is no matter where you're at on the field, no matter what, you know, what you're faced with, are you going to step up, you know, and be that dominant defense at that time.
Watching practice this spring, you were working with the safeties a ton. Are you more involved this year? With
Yes,
that
I am. I'm more involved with the safeties and the nickels.
Coach at this point?
Yes, I've been more safeties and nickels, and then Coach Brown's at the corners.
Okay. What kind of went into that decision to split up that way?
Just because, you know, I mean, with such a big group, I thought it'll help the guys out to have, you know, to have him with the corners and then have me with the safeties.
You doing two meetings or one meeting?
2 meetings.
Okay. So
Separate meetings.
So basically, it's a separate position group at this point.
Yes, sir.
So one more real quick on Mox. Just, you know, what has allowed him to take this next step? I mean, I know that you ask a lot of your cornerbacks and a lot of responsibility on them, but you know, early last season maybe some consistency and whatnot that he might have struggled with or whatnot. But I mean, what has really allowed him to take this next?
Just an understanding of the defense, and one thing going back to what he just asked me was one thing may be that because the group now is separate, that Coach Brown can concentrate and coach more technique and teach these guys more of what he wants from them, you know, at corner. And then as far as me, I can take the safeties and the nickels and be more detailed, you know, and teach them exactly what we want, right, and how we want them to do it. So, you know, that's on me. You know, as a first-year coordinator last year, I was spending more time kind of game planning and kind of spend more time of how I wanted to do things. And now that I have a better feel of how to do that, I think now having him with the corners and me with the safeties and actually having a chance to coach a position will help out our defense, you know, a ton. Thank you.